My friends, I want to speak to you today about something that is often misunderstood, something that society often questions, and yet something that holds great power and meaning in the life of an individual. There is a woman who walks this world alone, without a hand to hold in the evenings, without the comfort of a partner's voice in the morning. She lives alone without a boyfriend, and the world looks at her with puzzled eyes as if something is missing. But I want to tell you today, she is not alone. There is something sacred about the life of a woman who walks her journey in solitude. The world may call it loneliness, but I call it strength. The world may say she lacks something, but I say she has been given something far greater. You see, people often measure life by what is seen, by what the hands can hold, by what society deems necessary for happiness. They say a woman must have someone by her side to be complete. But I ask you today, who gave you that measure of completeness? Who told you that fulfillment can only be found in another person? This woman, the one who walks alone, has found something that the world cannot understand. She has found peace within herself. She does not rely on the validation of another to know her worth. She does not need constant affirmation from the lips of a man to believe she is valuable. She wakes up every morning knowing that her worth is not defined by another, but by something far greater than human approval. The world teaches that a woman must always seek, always yearn, always feel the need to belong to someone. But I say to you, she already belongs to something eternal, something unshakable. There is a foundation beneath her feet that does not crumble when a man leaves, does not waver when relationships fade. She walks on solid ground, for she has built her life on truth, not on fleeting affections. Many will ask, does she not feel lonely? Does she not long for love? But I tell you, my friends, love is not found only in the embrace of another. Love is found in purpose. Love is found in serving others. Love is found in knowing who you are and living boldly in that truth. A woman who walks alone is not a woman without love. She is a woman who has discovered a deeper love, a love that is not conditional, not transactional, not based on whether someone chooses to stay or walk away. She has seen the world tell her that happiness is found in another's arms, yet she has stood firm in knowing that happiness is not given, it is cultivated. She has faced the nights when doubt whispered in her ear, telling her that she is missing out, that she should settle, that she should compromise. But she has stood firm, for she knows that the worst kind of loneliness is not being alone. It is being with someone who does not see her, who does not value her, who does not understand the depth of her soul. Many women walk this path, yet the world rarely speaks of them. They are seen as an anomaly, as if a woman without a man is an unfinished story. But I tell you today, her story is not incomplete. It is being written with purpose, with grace, with strength that cannot be measured by society's standards. She is not waiting for someone to give her life meaning. She is living her life with meaning right now. She has dreams and she is pursuing them. She has passions and she is following them. She has wisdom and she is growing in it. She is not defined by whether or not she is chosen by a man. She is defined by the choices she makes every day to be bold, to be kind, to be strong, to walk in integrity. This woman does not see herself as lacking because she knows that everything she needs has already been placed within her. She does not beg for love because she knows that true love is not something you chase. It is something that is drawn to you when you walk in confidence and purpose. She does not lower her standards out of fear of being alone because she understands that the right things come at the right time, and she would rather wait in dignity than settle in desperation. I know that some of you listening today feel this struggle. You have heard the voices telling you that you are running out of time, that you need to find someone, that you must not walk this path alone. But I am here to tell you time is not your enemy and loneliness is not your destiny. You were not created to live in fear of what you do not have. You were created to walk boldly in what you do have. You have a mind that can dream, a heart that can love, hands that can build, and a soul that can change the world. Do not let the pressure of this world make you believe that you are less because you walk alone. Do not let the whispers of doubt make you believe that you are incomplete. If you were meant to have someone by your side at this moment, they would be there. But you right now, as you are, exactly where you need to be. The woman who lives alone without a boyfriend is not a woman to be pitied. She is a woman to be admired. She is a woman who has learned to stand when others seek to lean. She is a woman who has discovered that her joy is not dependent on another person's presence. She is a woman who has built her life in such a way that if someone were to come along, they would not complete her, but rather complement the greatness already within her. There is power in being content with where you are. There is wisdom in knowing that solitude is not a curse, but a gift. There is strength in understanding that you do not need to fill the silence with another's voice to feel whole. When you embrace this truth, you walk with a confidence that cannot be shaken, a peace that cannot be stolen, a light that cannot be dimmed. So to every woman who has been made to feel that she is behind, that she is less, that she must settle for less than she deserves, I tell you today, you are enough. You are strong. You are whole. You do not need to rush. You do not need to force. You do not need to fear. The world will not always understand a woman who walks alone. They will question her choices, doubt her contentment, and wonder how she finds joy without someone to share it with. But she knows the truth. She knows that her joy does not come from the approval of others, but from the unwavering knowledge that she is exactly where she is meant to be. So she walks on, she walks in grace, she walks in dignity, she walks with her head high, her heart full, her spirit unbroken. She is not searching, she is living, she is not waiting, she is thriving, she is not incomplete, she is whole. And if the world cannot see that, it does not matter because she sees it. And that is enough. She walks in grace, not because the world has handed her an easy path, but because she has learned to carry herself with dignity despite the weight of expectations placed upon her. She understands that grace is not about perfection, nor is it about conforming to what others believe she should be. It is about the way she rises every morning with a quiet strength, the way she faces each challenge with composure, the way she refuses to allow circumstances to define her identity. She has been told that a woman should seek validation in the approval of others, that she should adjust her steps to fit the rhythm of what society deems acceptable. But she has chosen a different path, one where her grace is not dependent on how others perceive her, but on the unwavering knowledge of who she is. There were times when she questioned herself, when she wondered if she was making the right choices by walking this journey alone. The voices around her spoke loudly, telling her she needed to be accompanied, that she needed someone by her side to truly be fulfilled. But she listened instead to the still, quiet voice within, the one that reminded her she was not meant to seek approval from those who did not understand her journey. She moves through life with an assurance that is neither boastful nor desperate, but grounded in the simple truth that she does not need permission to be who she is. She has seen the world place value on validation, on applause, on the acknowledgement of others. She has watched as people change themselves, mold themselves, shrink themselves just to be accepted. But she has chosen to walk in the opposite direction, to stand firm in her identity even when it is not celebrated, even when it is not praised. She understands that grace is not about being seen, it is about being true to oneself regardless of who is watching. She does not chase approval because she knows that the need for approval is a prison, a trap that keeps people bound to the expectations of others. And she refuses to be trapped. Her purpose is clear to her, even when others question it. She does not need to explain herself, does not need to justify why she chooses to walk this path. The world often demands explanations, asks why she has not settled, why she has not followed the well-trodden road, why she does not seek the kind of validation that so many crave. But she knows that her life is not meant to be lived for the understanding of others. It is meant to be lived in the fullness of her own truth. She does not ask for permission to be who she is, to pursue what sets her soul on fire, to walk the road that she knows is meant for her. She has known the temptation to conform, to lower her standards, to fit herself into a mold that was never meant for her. But she has also known the deep regret that comes with betraying oneself for the sake of approval. She has learned, sometimes through pain, that there is no satisfaction in becoming something you are not just to be accepted. And so she walks in purpose, undistracted by the noise of those who do not understand her journey. She walks with an assurance that is not arrogance, but a quiet confidence that comes from knowing that she does not need external approval to validate her existence. She finds fulfillment not in what others say about her, not in whether they approve of her choices, not in whether they deem her life acceptable or not. She has reached a place where she is content with herself, where she does not seek permission to live as she chooses. She understands that fulfillment does not come from external sources, does not come from the validation of a partner, does not come from fitting into societal expectations. It comes from within. It comes from knowing that she is walking the path meant for her, from knowing that she is enough as she is. She is not easily swayed by the opinions of others because she knows that opinions are fleeting, ever-changing, often based on limited understanding. She does not allow her sense of worth to rise and fall with the approval of those who do not walk her path, who do not know the depth of her soul. She has learned that living for the approval of others is a never-ending chase, a pursuit that leaves one exhausted, constantly shifting, constantly questioning. She has chosen instead to be steady, to be grounded, to find her security in something far more lasting than the temporary applause of the world. There have been times when she felt the weight of loneliness, when she wondered if perhaps she should give in, should seek validation in the way the world tells her to. But she has also known the emptiness that comes from seeking fulfillment in places where it cannot truly be found. She has seen what happens when people chase after approval, how it leaves them feeling hollow, dependent, never truly free. She has watched as others live their lives dictated by what others think, how they make choices not based on what is right for them, but on what will be accepted by the majority. And she has chosen a different way. She has learned to be at peace with herself, to sit in her own company without feeling the need to fill the silence with the noise of validation. She understands that true fulfillment is not found in being praised, but in knowing that she is aligned with her own truth. She has known moments of doubt, moments when the pressure to conform felt overwhelming, but she has also known the deep satisfaction that comes from standing firm in who she is. She has tasted the freedom of living without the need for approval, and she would not trade it for anything. She does not rush, does not force, does not seek to fit into a timeline that was never hers. She understands that her journey is unique, that she does not need to measure her success by the standards of others. She has watched as the world tries to tell her what she should want, what she should need, what should make her happy. But she has also discovered that happiness is not a one-size-fits-all concept. What fulfills one person may not fulfill another, and she is at peace with that. She does not need her life to look like anyone else's to know that it is meaningful. She walks with clarity, knowing that she is exactly where she is meant to be. She does not allow herself to be swayed by fear, by insecurity, by the pressure to be anything other than who she is. She does not let doubt dictate her steps, does not let external opinions shape her path. She has learned that true confidence is not about never questioning, it is about trusting herself even when the world questions her. She carries herself with a quiet strength, with a dignity that does not need to be announced, with a presence that is not dependent on external validation. She knows that her worth is not determined by whether or not others see it. She understands that she does not need to be chosen by someone else to know that she is valuable. Her value is not in being desired, not in being accepted, not in being approved of. Her value is inherent, unshaken, unchanging. She has made peace with her own company, with her own thoughts, with her own journey. She does not seek distraction from herself, does not run from the silence, does not fill the spaces in her life with meaningless pursuits just to avoid feeling alone. She has embraced solitude not as something to be feared, but as something to be cherished. She has found that in the stillness there is wisdom, that in the quiet there is strength, that in walking alone there is a power that cannot be found in the desperate need for external validation. She does not shrink herself to make others comfortable. She does not hide her strength to make herself more palatable. She does not silence her voice to gain approval. She is unapologetic in her existence, in her choices, in the way she moves through the world. She has seen the way people dim their light for fear of being too much, for fear of being judged, for fear of standing out. And she has chosen to shine regardless. She understands that her life is not meant to be lived in the shadows, waiting for permission to step into the light. She does not apologize for being who she is. She does not wait for others to tell her that she is enough. She does not measure herself by whether or not she fits into a mold that was never meant for her. She has embraced her own path, and she walks it with conviction. She does not walk it for the approval of others, does not seek to impress, does not seek to be validated. She walks it because it is hers. She is not defined by what the world says about her. She is not shaped by the expectations of others. She is not swayed by the fleeting opinions that come and go. She knows who she is. She knows what she stands for. She knows that her worth is not up for debate. And so she walks on. As her confidence is not something that was given to her, it is something she built piece by piece through every challenge she faced, through every moment of doubt she overcame. It did not arrive overnight, nor was it always steady, but over time she learned that confidence is not the absence of fear, nor is it the ability to always be certain. It is the quiet assurance that she is capable, that she is enough, that she can stand tall regardless of what life throws at her. She has walked through storms, through seasons of uncertainty, through moments when the world told her she should question herself. And yet she has chosen to believe not in the words of others, not in fleeting opinions, but in the truth of who she is. She does not seek validation in external things, does not measure herself by how others perceive her. She has seen the way the world tries to define people, the way it insists that confidence must come from something tangible, from beauty, from success, from approval. But she knows better. She understands that confidence is not about being admired or envied. It is about standing firm in who she is, even when no one is looking. She does not need applause to feel whole. She does not need reassurance to know her worth. She has made peace with herself, and that peace radiates through every step she takes. She has watched as people chase after confidence in all the wrong places as they try to find it in relationships and achievements in the opinions of those who do not even truly know them. She has seen how fragile that kind of confidence is, how easily it crumbles when circumstances change, when validation is no longer given. She has learned that true confidence cannot be taken away because it does not come from anything outside of her. It is rooted deep within, in the understanding that she is not defined by what she has, by who stands beside her, by whether the world approves of her choices. There was a time when she sought that approval, when she wondered if she was enough, if she should change to fit the expectations placed upon her. But with time she realized that nothing is more exhausting than trying to be something you are not, that nothing drains the soul more than bending yourself to be accepted. And so she chose to step into herself fully, without hesitation, without apology. She chose to embrace her own reflection, not as something to be fixed, but as something to be honored. She walks with confidence because she no longer doubts herself, because she no longer waits for permission to exist as she is. She carries herself with a quiet assurance, not because she believes she is perfect, but because she has accepted that she does not need to be. She has seen how people hold themselves back, waiting to feel worthy, waiting to become what they think they must be before they allow themselves to stand tall. But she understands that confidence is not a destination, it is a decision. A decision to believe that she is enough today in this moment as she is. A decision to walk forward even when doubt whispers, even when fear lingers. A decision to trust herself, to trust the path she is on, to trust that she is capable of handling whatever comes her way. She does not compare herself to others, does not waste time wondering if she measures up. She understands that comparison is a thief, that it robs people of their joy, of their sense of self, of their ability to fully embrace who they are. She does not look at others and wish to be them because she knows that her own journey is unique, that her own story is valuable. She does not diminish herself to fit into someone else's idea of what she should be. She has learned to take up space, to own her voice, to stand in her power without hesitation. Her confidence is not loud, not boastful, not desperate to be seen. It is steady, unwavering, rooted in a deep sense of self-trust. She does not need to prove anything to anyone. She does not need to announce her worth. She simply lives it, breathes it, walks in it. It is evident in the way she carries herself, in the way she speaks, in the way she moves through life without the need to explain herself. She has seen how the world often tries to diminish confident women, how it tells them they should be softer, smaller, more agreeable. She has been told that confidence in a woman is intimidating, that she should shrink herself to be more acceptable. But she refuses to comply. She refuses to make herself less so that others can feel more. She refuses to trade her confidence for comfort, to silence herself for the sake of being more palatable. She does not seek approval, does not seek to be liked at the cost of her own truth. She understands that confidence is not about being liked, it is about being true to herself no matter the cost. Her contentment is something that many do not understand, something that often makes others question her. She does not need to constantly chase something new, does not need to fill every moment with distractions, does not need to seek fulfillment in temporary things. She has found a peace within herself that is not dependent on circumstances. She does not wait for something external to complete her because she knows that she is already whole. She has watched as people search endlessly for contentment as they believe it will come when they achieve more, when they have more, when they are loved more. But she has learned that contentment is not found in chasing, it is found in presence, in gratitude, and fully embracing the life she has now. She does not live in a constant state of wanting, does not believe that happiness is always somewhere in the future. She finds joy in the simple things, in the quiet moments, in the knowledge that she is exactly where she needs to be. She is not restless, not searching, not unsettled. She has learned to be still, to be present, to appreciate what is instead of always longing for what could be. She does not believe that she must have everything figured out to be at peace. She does not believe that she must have all the answers to be content. She trusts the process, trusts that things will unfold as they are meant to, trusts that she does not need to control every detail of life to find joy. Her contentment does not mean she lacks ambition, does not mean she has stopped growing. It simply means that she is not ruled by a sense of lack, not defined by a constant need for more. She does not live in a state of comparison, does not measure her life against the expectations of others. She finds fulfillment in what she has and who she is, in the path she has chosen. She does not seek love from a place of emptiness, does not believe that a relationship will make her whole. She knows that love is beautiful, that companionship is meaningful, but she also knows that it is not the source of her fulfillment. She does not wait for someone to complete her, does not believe that her happiness is dependent on being chosen by another. She is already complete, already whole, already enough. She does not settle out of fear, does not enter relationships from a place of insecurity. She chooses love only when it aligns with her peace, only when it adds to the wholeness she already possesses. She has learned that contentment is not something that comes from external sources, that it is not given by success, by relationships, by the approval of others. It is something that is cultivated from within, something that is nurtured by self-acceptance, by gratitude, by the decision to embrace life as it is. She does not wait for circumstances to change to be happy. She does not place conditions on her own peace. She chooses it now in this moment exactly as she is. She does not apologize for her confidence, does not downplay her contentment to make others comfortable. She understands that not everyone will understand her, that not everyone will approve of her choices. But she does not live for approval. She does not shape herself to fit into expectations that were never meant for her. She walks in her own truth fully, completely, without hesitation. She is not seeking to be saved, not waiting to be rescued, not looking for someone to fix what was never broken. She has learned that she is enough, that she has always been enough. She does not seek completion anything outside of herself because she understands that she is already whole. She does not let the world tell her that she is lacking. She does not believe the lie that she must be different to be worthy. She stands firm in who she is, confident, content, whole. There are moments in life when one finds themselves walking a road that is quiet, a path that is absent of the noise of others, a journey that many fear because it lacks the comfort of constant company. But solitude is not a curse. It is not a punishment or a sign of abandonment. It is a sacred invitation to go deeper, to look within, to understand the purpose that has been placed in one's soul. Too often, the world conditions people to believe that being alone is a sign of failure, that solitude is something to be ashamed of, something to run from, something to fill with distractions and noise. But the truth is, solitude is a gift, a divine opportunity to listen to the whispers of the heart, to hear the voice of wisdom, to uncover the identity that has been obscured by the expectations of the world. When a person embraces solitude, they do not encounter emptiness, but rather the fullness of their own being. It is in solitude that a person begins to understand who they truly are beyond the roles they play, beyond the masks they wear, beyond the opinions that others have imposed upon them. It is in the silence of solitude that one hears the most profound truths about themselves. They come face to face with their fears, their doubts, their dreams, and their desires. And in that confrontation, they grow. They transform. Solitude is not a void to be feared, but a space in which refined, strengthened, and prepared for the greater purpose that awaits. The world often equates solitude with loneliness, but these two are not the same. Loneliness is the absence of connection, a longing for companionship, a feeling of being unseen and unheard. Solitude, on the other hand, is a choice. It is a conscious decision to step away from the noise, to retreat from the distractions, to sit in stillness and seek understanding. It is in solitude that one learns to befriend themselves, to embrace their own presence, to cultivate a relationship with the person they are becoming. In solitude, a person is no longer defined by the expectations of others, but by the truth that resides within them. There is a reason why those who seek wisdom often retreat into solitude. There is a reason why those who wish to understand their purpose withdraw from the crowd. It is because the answers are not found in the chaos of the world, but in the quiet of the soul. It is in solitude that a person learns to listen not just to the noise of their thoughts, but to the deeper voice within, the voice that has been guiding them all along, the voice that whispers of their worth, their strength, their destiny. It is in solitude that a person learns to walk with confidence, not because they have the validation of others, but because they have discovered the truth within themselves. Solitude teaches patience. It teaches resilience. It teaches a person that they are whole, that they are not incomplete, that they do not need to seek another to make them feel worthy or valuable. The world may tell a person that they need to be surrounded by others to be happy, that they need the constant presence of companionship to feel fulfilled. But this is not the truth. The truth is that fulfillment begins within. The truth is that a person who has learned to be content in their own presence, who has learned to embrace solitude, who has walked the path of self-discovery without fear, is a person who is truly free. In solitude, a person confronts their past, their wounds, their regrets, but they do not remain bound by them. Instead, they find healing. They find clarity. They begin to understand that their worth is not defined by the approval of others, that their identity is not shaped by external validation, that their purpose is not dependent on the presence of another. In solitude, a person learns to stand firm, to walk with assurance, to move forward not out of desperation, but out of a deep knowing that they are enough, that they have always been enough. The world may not understand the power of solitude. It may look at the one who walks alone and assume that they are lacking, that they are searching, that they are in need of something to complete them. But those who have embraced solitude know the truth. They know that they are not empty but full. They know that they are not lost but found. They know that they are not waiting for someone else to define them, but are walking boldly in the identity they have discovered within themselves. Solitude is not a place of despair. It is a place of revelation. It is a place where the deepest truths are unearthed, where the strongest foundations are built, where the most profound transformations take place. In solitude, a person learns to walk in peace. They learn to find joy in the simple moments, to appreciate the beauty of their own thoughts, to cherish the stillness that allows them to connect with themselves in ways they never could when surrounded by noise. They learn that they are capable of standing on their own, that their happiness does not depend on another, that their worth is not contingent upon someone else's recognition. Solitude teaches independence, not as a rejection of connection, but as an affirmation of self-sufficiency. It is in solitude that a person realizes they do not need to be completed by another, for they are already whole. And so solitude is not a curse. It is not a punishment. It is not something to be feared or avoided. It is a gift, a sacred space in which a person discovers the depth of their being, the strength of their spirit, the clarity of their purpose. It is in solitude that a person truly meets themselves, not as the world sees them, but as they truly are. And in that meeting, they find something greater than they ever imagined, the undeniable, unshakable truth of who they were always meant to be. Meant to be. Meant to be. Meant to be.